This has been a most emotional day for the Colorado Rockies family, and a few moments ago, the McGregor kids and Lori throwing out the first pitch today, and then they're surrounded by the entire 25-man roster of the Colorado Rockies. And there is Lori McGregor. She and Kelly met back in middle school. It goes all the way back to their Lakewood days. And this May, they would have celebrated their 25th anniversary. Hi once again, everybody. With George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman, and this has been a very difficult week for everybody associated with the Colorado Rockies. And today there was a 2-hour service, and there's no other way to put it. Kelly McGregor was a very, very special man, and today was a very, very tough day for a lot of people.
There's no question. Tough day for this ball club, tough day for the employees, friends, people I'd seen that have come far and wide to be here today to honor Kelly McGregor. Said a lot to me of what he meant to the game of baseball and to people in general. And truly, it is a tough day. It's a day that you remember somebody that you're very fond of that was a tremendous leader and a tremendous person.
The one thing that I'd like to pass on for those folks that didn't have the pleasure of knowing Kelly, it was a distinct honor to call Kelly a friend. And Kelly was a person that when you spent a little bit of time with, you came away honestly feeling a whole lot better about yourself. You learned a little bit more about the subject that you were discussing, and you realized that this was a very, very passionate, loving, caring giant of a man.
I don't think you could put it any better way.
Bear with us today, because we've lost a dear friend, and a family has lost a great father, a great husband. And the Rockies today and for a while will play with a heavy heart. There's Logan McGregor sitting next to the skipper, Jim Tracy, as it should be. Baseball on FSN is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470, drive it today and pay later with license plate toll, or get the lowest toll rate now with Express Toll. By Ford Escape, so much fun, so little fuel. Ford Escape, drive one. By Grainger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 club level seats. Well, a moment ago, Jim Tracy and Logan McGregor bringing out the lineup cards. Angel Hernandez putting his arm around Logan, who's the home plate umpire today. There's Joe West, Paul Schreiber, Rob Drake, and Freddie Gonzalez. And a number of members of the Florida Marlins organization also attended the service today. Davey Collins, of course, who was a first base coach. Michael Hill, who was an assistant general manager to Dan O'Dad, who's now the right-hand man to Larry Beinfast, George, down in Florida, was at the service. And every member of the Florida Marlins team was on the top step in front of the dugout during the first pitch ceremony, and a video tribute again honoring Kelly McGregor, who left us way too soon at the age of 48 on Tuesday. And now, George, the difficult task for a player, and a lot of these players were very close to Kelly as well, because he was not somebody that sat up in a tower. He was lifting with him in the weight room. He was a constant presence in the clubhouse. And not one member, we chatted about this the other day, there's not one member of this organization, from the highest paid employee, Todd Helton, on down to anybody who works for the Rockies, that did not have a meeting with Kelly, and Kelly got to know them. And it was a two-way street. It wasn't, hey, you're going to get to know me. It was Kelly portraying the philosophy of this organization.
Well, I thought, and it's extended to his 4 young children also. The way they conducted themselves, and his beautiful wife Lori. She was as much a part of this organization as anybody else, as much as Kelly was, and cared about your families, cared about what went on in your lives, not just the lives of Rockies players. He cared about his employees. He cared about the people that were there. He was, as many people have stated today and many days prior to this, that he was a giant of a man, but he was a big man, but he was a giant as far as being able to give you knowledge, comfort, an arm on the shoulder when it needed to be.
Absolutely. Chris Coughlin will lead it off for Florida. And here's the rest of the Marlins lineup presented by Southwest.com. Gabby Sanchez, the University of Miami product in the 2-hole. Hanley Ramirez will bat third. He's 5 for 11 lifetime against Jorge De La Rosa. Jorge Cantu, who had his 21-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. Dan Uggla, Ronnie Paulino, Cody Ross, Brett Carroll, and 6'8" Chris Volstad. Time for our player to bank on, brought to you by Wells Fargo.
Well, it's not hard to pick this one. Jorge De La Rosa on the hill for the Colorado Rockies. You see the 88, 89, 96 mile an hour fastball. But he's the guy where it's all going to start, as it did last night with Aaron Cook, out on that little bump in the middle of this field, that he will go out and try to handle this Florida Marlin lineup.
Let's take a look at our first pitch, as always brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer, and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. Yesterday, after Friday's washout, the Rockies played a twin bill against Florida, lost the afternoon affair 4-1, won the nightcap behind Aaron Cook 8-1. And the first pitch is down low, ball one, to Chris Coughlin. Coughlin probably would not be starting today against the lefty. It'd be Cameron Maben. But Maben, you know, had that run in at first base fairly early in the ball game with a teammate, and was still a little groggy this morning, and that's why Maben is not in the starting lineup.
And it favors De La Rosa. Those left-handers have not gotten a hit off of him all year. They're 0 for 9.
There's no day at the beach for a left-handed hitter. Really for a right-handed hitter. That just missed off the outside corner. Angel Hernandez calling balls and strikes, as we mentioned. Paul Schreiber at first, Rob Drake at second, and Joe West is at third base. And that's fouled back, 2-2. De La Rosa sitting on 95. He is a lot like Ubaldo Jimenez, George, in that he enters the game 94, 95, and he'll exit the game 94, 95, 96.
Well, there's no question about what De La Rosa has accomplished. It's really coming into his own, and I say this, believing in his stuff, the ability to win baseball games since June 1st of 09, 18-4 matches is the best of anybody in baseball. And the list of those people with him, this ball's going to end out in front of Olivo. He'll be able to get the strikeout to throw on down to help to make it official.
And a strikeout, a fitting way to start it for Jorge De La Rosa, who can rack up a ton of those. In the outfield, it's Seth Smith, Dexter Fowler, and Carlos Gonzalez in right. Stewart and Tulowitzki, Barmas and Helton, with Olivo, who hit a 3-run home run yesterday, behind the plate. Seth Smith is in left field getting the start. And we'll tell you more on the Rockies outfield situation. Brad Hopp, second time in the last 3 days he had to leave a ball game early because of that left quadricep tightness. So the Rockies have gone ahead and put Brad on the disabled list and brought up Eric Young Jr. That pitch is inside. It's 1-1 on Gabby Sanchez, the first baseman. So Eric Young Jr. is with the club, ready to go. And Brad Hopp, who was off to another gorgeous start, will sit down for a couple of weeks. And that's in there for a strike. A ball and 2 strikes. Gabby Sanchez looking back. He didn't like the call. Quite honestly, George, I thought with Coghlan, the second pitch delivered to him was a strike.
Well, with Angel, and again, it can be an inconsistent strike zone that floats from inning to inning. I think that's probably the hardest thing about it, is we're going to show the previous pitch to Gabby Sanchez. We're going to see it on the forward strike zone. I mean, it is right on the paint block and given to him as a strike, just off of the plate.
And well received, George, by Miguel Olivo. That is a changeup pulled foul. De La Rosa wasn't happy with his last outing. He got the win in Washington. He was staked to a very large lead, but was gone after working into the 6th inning. 4 runs, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, 4 walks. Difficult strike zone that night, but it cut both ways. Here's the 2-2. It's up high, 3-2.
Well, 118 pitches to get through 5 innings. Way too many. Way too many.
Yep.
And again, if you put that strike zone a little better, if he has better command, able to work out of some innings. There's a lot of 2-out extended innings because of that.
Well, that locked him up. Back-to-back punch out. Sanchez will make a left-hand turn.
Well, Angel Hernandez liked the way this pitch looked on the forward strike zone. He was able to ring him up a breaking ball that broke right to the middle of the plate for the punch out. The keys to this ball game brought to you by Suzuki today. De La Rosa, obviously, I think it all starts right there on the hill. The bullpen totally rested after a complete game by Mr. Cook, his 10th of his career, in the continued offense of Tulowitzki, the way he swung the bat yesterday. Todd Helton swung the bat well yesterday. It's a matter of this club staying focused today, and that's going to be a difficult task ahead.
Well, Ramirez 5 for 11 lifetime against De La Rosa. So instead of having him sit on that first pitch fastball, which Ramirez does quite a bit, he threw him the breaking ball. And now that fastball's high, 2-0. After the split of the doubleheader yesterday, the Rockies all time have won 73 and the Marlins have won 73, dating back to their mutual inception in 1993. Just off the outside corner, he took something off. And it's 3-0. Aaron Cook, complete game performance last night, limited the Marlins to 5 hits. 14 ground ball outs, vintage Aaron Cook. And that's ball 4. So that'll bring up Jorge Cantu. And a reminder, when the Rockies score,
7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a medium drink. And if you're driving around today, you can do that because the Rockies scored 8 yesterday. Cantu 0 for 4 last night against Aaron Cook, and that ended his 21-game hitting streak dating back to late last year. 5th longest, tied for the 5th longest in Marlins history. 4 home runs and 20 driven in already, and the Marlins have only played 18 games. That's a bunch of early season ribbies for Cantu. And he hits it in the air to left field. Shallow. In fact, Tulowitzki's going to have to play as the wind is going to bring it back toward the infield. Good start for De La Rosa. He allowed the walk to Ramirez, who's left the board. Chris Volstad warmed up in a hurry. His first pitch in there for a strike on Carlos Gonzalez. Chris Volstad, a tall drink of water, as they would say down south. He's 6'8". And this is a broken bat roller deep in the hole. Ramirez on the run with that strong arm gets Gonzalez by a step. Let's take a look at the rest of the Colorado Rockies lineup, brought to you by Southwest.com. Dexter Fowler, 3 hits. On base 5 times in the nightcap. Todd Helton's had great numbers against Chris Volstad. Tulowitzki was 4 for 9 in the doubleheader yesterday. Seth Smith will bat in the 5-hole. Miguel Olivo next, and Ian Stewart off to a tremendous start. Clint Barmas and Jorge De La Rosa, who has been swinging the bat in the early season. Fowler takes a strike. Volstad is 1-1 with a 379. This is his 4th start. He has 3 quality starts already. I say he's really, George, reaching out and getting extension with that sinker.
Has to, in order to keep it down into the strike zone and allowing his frame work it. There's a breaking ball, a good breaking ball, 81-mile-an-hour curveball in the outer half of the plate. This is something he has always done throughout his career. He walked 8 batters in 68 innings, struck out 98 his senior year in high school. Has always had the good curveball, 81 miles an hour. Here, let's look at the scouting report. 94 mile an hour fastball that he will sink away from the left-handers, 85, 86 on the slider. The curve will be his pitch, but there is that big sinker and running fastball at 93. We got a pretty good basketball team over here. He at 6'8", Johnson at 6'7".
pounding the zone. He hasn't thrown anything but strikes. 7 pitches, 7 in the strike zone. Helton's behind 0-2. As you well know, that really bothers him. Here's an interesting note about Chris Volstad. Right-handed hitters actually hit better against him last year than lefties. Right-handed hitters hit .302 against him. Lefties hit .255.
Well, they stay with the fastball on Helton. 2 away and then 2 inside. One of those high. The last he wanted for a strike, didn't get it.
And that's high. 3-2. Todd hitting .315 in the early going. And this is a one-hopper to Hanley Ramirez. 1-2-3 start for Volstad. And we'll go to inning number 2 at Coors Field. No score between the Rockies and the Marlins. Ugla out of the 5-hole will lead it off against Jorge De La Rosa as we check in for the first time this afternoon with Alana Rizzo. Hey, Alana.
Hi, Drew. Thanks very much. For those of us that didn't have the opportunity, for those people that couldn't come and see the memorial service for Kelly McGregor, it was really just an emotional and very touching morning. About 2 hours was for the service, and a lot of people came and spoke about the love that they have for Kelly, and all of his children were able to get up and speak, and his daughter Taylor is his middle daughter, and she was able to give a wonderful speech. I don't know how she was able to get the words out, but she wanted everybody in attendance. Everyone received these purple bracelets, and it has Kelly's initials on them. It says KSM on one side, and then it says trust in him on the other side. And anybody that knew Kelly McGregor knew he was a man of great faith, and she asked that because of his trust in God that we trust in Kelly McGregor. It was just a very moving afternoon. Clint Hurdle was here, and he gave an opening prayer. Greg Fiesel, Vice President of Marketing here for the Colorado Rockies, also spoke. So many people got up. Sonny Lubick was the one that gave the eulogy for Kelly. Just a very emotional and heartfelt ceremony here this morning at Coors Field. The gates opened at about 10 o'clock. People were allowed to come in. The service began at 11 o'clock, and I know that the team will be wearing these bracelets, if not for the whole season, for many games, Drew.
Yeah, Alana, and if you knew Kelly, you know that so much of him lives on in his children, and what tremendous strength for Landry and Taylor and Jordan and Logan, who all spoke today. And they were simply terrific. And they I tell you what, they inspire. As Kelly, we've talked about how Kelly was so inspiring, George. His children, as emotional as it was, he and Lori's children, you talk about building such a strong foundation. I think they inspired all of us and made us feel a little bit better about just a horrible situation. 3-2 on Dan Ugla. Ugla's having a big April, which is foreign to Ugla. He's had great seasons. We all know that. But he's a career .236 hitter in April. This spring, he's hitting .333. Powerfully built second baseman, and that pitch just missed inside. And De La Rosa always flirts with high pitch counts in the strike zone. And he walks ugly here to begin the second inning. That'll bring up Ronnie Paulino, the former Pittsburgh Pirate. Rocky set for 2 up the middle.
I like
Yellow Levo's got to go out again and talk to De La Rosa.
Well, he doesn't want another 118 pitch start. I think that's the biggest thing about it. He wants him to be able to go out and throw strikes and believe your stuff, believe in everything. And again, you're not going to get consistent calls all the time by a home plate umpire, but you've got to overcome those.
De La Rosa in 18 innings has allowed just 16 hits, but he's walked 10. He has struck out more than a hitter in inning 20. He's coming in. I think about Angel Hernandez also. If you start to, in his mind, have trouble throwing strikes, you're not going to get the borderline pitch. And a lot of umpires are that way.
Well, they are that way. Sometimes Angel Hernandez, though, gets a very inconsistent floating strike zone during the course of a ball game. That's not the reason De La Rosa has a couple of walks right now. He has missed first pitch strike just one time out of the 6 batters he's faced so far.
And that's a double play ball. There's 1, and there is 2. George, here's something interesting about, and you've been around pitching forever. Being a pitcher, you forget that. You were a former pitcher. Yes, you were.
I always wanted to catch.
Well, no, you're too tall. Watch the double play ball. Here's something for me that's fascinating about Jimenez and De La Rosa. You know they're going to strike out a high number. Yet, when the ball's in play, more often than not, it's on the ground. A lot of power pitchers are fly ball pitchers when they give up contact.
Well, but these guys have movement, and really, Bob Apodaca really concentrates in preaching downward plane to the plate. So if you have a downward plane, you're going to have typically your ball's going to be in the thigh area and below with some movement. And that's what creates a lot of those ground ball outs, and the fact they have 2 very good secondary pitches, either the slider curveball on any given day and a good changeup.
It's a line drive towards Smith and left. It'll drop in front of him, and it's a broken bat single for Cody Ross.
Well, a lot of heavy winds coming out of left field right now, so any fly ball in the air is going to get knocked down, and a lot of those line drives are going to get knocked down.
By the way, that double play the Rockies turned up the middle a moment ago, the 20th they've turned this year, to the point George and I were making about the number of ground balls, not just induced by a guy like Aaron Cook, we expect that, but by De La Rosa and Jimenez. And the 20 DPs tied for second in the National League with St. Louis. Houston has turned 21. They've had a lot of traffic.
Well, a lot of people talk about that, and we have. I think it's a positive when you're turning double plays because you're throwing strikes, hopefully, and you're putting the ball in play. So if you're giving up base hits, it beats walks. And that's something the Rockies had a little trouble with at the beginning of the year. Last year, they didn't. Putting the ball in play, you're going to have that. Got a chance. A little better throw from Olivo. You probably did. Good job by helping scoop it. But my point is that when you do have the traffic, you have a comforting feeling as a pitcher because the defense is behind you.
This is the guy De La Rosa wants, not help, but Brett Carroll. He's hitting out of the 8-hole. Get the pitcher to start off the next inning. 2 outs. Cody Ross is at first base. When he is in the strike zone, you haven't seen high quality swings. You've seen a lot of swings and misses. The base hit was a broken bat job. Marlins get to return home. This has been a lengthy road trip for Florida. This is game 9 of a swing that took them through Philadelphia. They went 2-1 against the Phils, and then they went down and played the Astros, a team really struggling, and Freddie Gonzalez's team actually lost 2 of 3. So they're all even, 4-4 on this road trip. 2-2, and a pickoff. Tell you what, De La Rosa had Ross turned the other way.
And Ross is turning around asking Paul Schreiber about his leg kick and did it get behind the plane of the rubber, because when it does, it's mandatory you go to the plate. He took a couple of jumps and then it was a quick drop down of the leg and a snap throw to help. One more little half step, he might have had a shot at getting it.
That's a ball call by Angel Hernandez. You know, you see it all the time. A guy complains, and then the next thing you know, somebody calls a ball.
I think it was because he didn't come set quick enough for him. Jim Tracy's going to ask from Angel Hernandez what he did or didn't do. This is the second balk. If that's the reason why that he came set, I mean, if that's the case, then that's the second balk calls for that reason against the Rockies. One was against Franco Morales the other day. Nothing there, nothing there. All I can think of is he didn't come quick enough. Rockies have 5 pickoffs this year. That's tied for the Major League lead.
It's so subtle on the left side. To me, George, halftime's impossible to tell.
Well, it is, and I think a lot of it's the angle of how you come to the plate. Did you deceive and all that? That's the key word. Did you keep hearing umpires? Well, you deceived the runner.
Well, they're trying to deceive the runner.
Exactly. So why, exactly. And that's why I'm going, okay. So I tricked him and I got him out, but I can't because I tricked him.
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It is a funny description for a balk. Deceiving the runner. Well, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah. Is he out there, George? Does that work off the screen?
No. Only wiffle ball.
So in the backyard, he's out. Off the house or the big elm tree, and if you catch it, you're out.
Or if you hit a limb when you hit it in fair territory, you're out.
Yep. Or if it's the limb beyond the white picket fence and it's an automatic bomb. Outside 3-2.
37 pitches, 19 balls, 18 strikes. You want that ratio to be much like Aaron Cook, who threw 34 total balls in 9 innings last night. Think about that, folks. Talk about a guy pounding the strike zone. Aaron Cook did that last night on his way to winning his 32nd home game. That's the most home wins by a Rockies pitcher at Coors Field.
Past Jason Jennings. Here's the 3-2 and a cue shot that's going to go foul. You know what we forgot to point out at the end of the evening when we were giving our summation of the performance of Aaron Cook, George, is that Cook's pitch count would have been reduced by probably 8 or 10 because he had to get 4 outs one inning.
He did have to get 4 outs on the ground ball, hit the second base to Moore. He ended up, that runner got on, another one behind that, and had to get a couple more to go.
Carroll's been up there for 10 minutes. Here's the 3-2 again, and see you later. De La Rosa wins the battle, and the Marlins are done in the second inning. Cody Ross left at second base. Tulowitzki to lead it off for the Rockies. Time for our Touchstone Energy Save of the Week. Craig Stamen bidding for a hit. Luda's catch by Brad Hopp. Sliding grab, well done by the Rockies all-star right fielder. That Save of the Week brought to you by the region's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. We're a local electric cooperative delivering a reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. Visit togetherwesave.com. And Brad Hopp will be on the bench for a couple of weeks. He was placed on the disabled list today with strain in the left quad. He's been battling it for about a week. Chats with Ryan Spilborg, so they just want to get him fully healthy. Eric Young Jr. was called up. Here's the 0-1 on Tulowitzki, down low, 1-1.
That was the hard slider. Don't be surprised. I think he'll go to the curveball to get Tulowitzki out. He may see another fastball, but it's going to be the hard hook to get him out.
Outside 2-1.
Two sliders to right-handed bats, both one low, and then that one he really worked under, didn't extend, stayed up in the zone.
And folks, he's had trouble getting Tulowitzki out. He's faced him 8 times in his career, and Troy has 4 hits, including a home run. That's inside, 3-1. Those are the pitches, George. You know, we've seen scary incidents where the guys get hit above the shoulders, and you know you get geared up in that tailing fastball because the head was still forward, the body wasn't turned around. That's a strike, 3-2.
A guy with velocity too.
Yeah,
not much time to react to it.
It's a very nice Sunday crowd. Understandably subdued. This is on the ground at third. Easy play for Cantu. Toyota Diamond Details brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Left field is 347 here at Coors Field. Center field 415. Actually, in the extreme portion of right center field and left center field, it goes out to 424. In right center field, you see a lot of balls hit into the Rockies bullpen is 375. Seth Smith's done that a few times in his young but fruitful career. 1-0 on Smith. Couple home runs, 8 driven in. He's starting to get locked in. This ball's hit well down the right field line, and it is gone. Didn't go to right center, went right down the line. Smith with his 3rd of the year, and it's 1-0 Colorado.
Another look at this pitch coming in from Volstead, a fastball that they tried to get in, but they wanted the ball down more than they did up. On the Hyundai cam, you're really going to see him open up and get the hands through the baseball and get on top and drive. Sent that ball out of the ballpark in a hurry.
Here's Miguel Olivo. He's no stranger to hitting the ball over the wall. Did it yesterday for the 4th time. He's tied for first among big league catchers in home runs. Chops this one off his leg. The other big league catchers with 4. Kurt Suzuki's off to a good start with Oakland, and Jason Varitek. Outside 2-1 on Olivo. Rockies, you know they're going to hit home runs. This is a slow roller to Ramirez now. He's going to, did he get his man? I'll tell you what, Olivo runs well. We've described that he's not your ordinary catcher running up the line. And I guess the foot came back down on the base for Gabby Sanchez on that throw by Hanley Ramirez in time. We'll look again.
Well, it's also a very good lesson to the kids at home. You get jammed a little bit, run hard. You never know, you might force an errant throw. This ball got up above, and then it came back down and had the ability. Let's see if the foot did touch. The Hyundai cam will not lie. He's up, got extension coming down, and as Oliva approaches, his foot hit just before he got there.
Good call by Paul Schreiber at first base. So they're 2 outs, 1-0 Colorado, and Ian Stewart's at the plate. Hitting .341 against righties this year, and this is top of the 2nd. Seth Smith goes deep down the right field line, and the Rockies, through 2 innings, are off to a 1-0 start. We go to the 3rd inning. The Rockies leading 1-0 on the Seth Smith home run. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo as well. Jorge De La Rosa against Chris Volstad. And Volstad at the plate with a 200 batting average. He takes high, ball 1. Is it possible to throw the ball high to this kid?
You mean because he's 6'8.5", or the helmet on, he's 6'9",
Yeah.
6'10"?
Exactly. 1-2. Volstad can pitch up to his capabilities. Nice play by Stewart. It's a pretty darn good rotation down in Florida with Josh Johnson at the top, Ricky Nolasco. This young man. Today's big hit of the week brought to you by Mako. Last night, Miguel Olivo hit one over the center field wall. Nate Robertson didn't even want to look. 100th career home run for Olivo, and it gave the Rockies a 5-0 lead. He looks good in purple, doesn't he, George?
Yes, he does. I tell you what, I'm glad to get him out of that Kansas City color. Never liked blue on him anyway.
That's a strike on Coghlan, who struck out his first time up.
We talked about that rotation they have. Don't forget about Sanchez, too. Anibal Sanchez, a no-hitter a couple of years ago.
Sure.
This ball club, he could also solidify that. I think that if there is a weak spot, it's that 6th, 7th, 8th inning of what they have to work with. And again, I think they'll work to improve that, but it's going to be at a costly measure because they're just don't have the money to spend.
They always seem to find a way, and they will be a factor in the National League East this year.
May not win it, but they'll be disruptive.
Yep.
Because of that rotation on any given day, they throw out a shutout at you.
Good pitch. 2-2. And also, if you make mistakes to this lineup, they can hurt you 1 through 8. They can hit it over the wall 1 through 8.
Well, they're going to swing the bat. I think that's something very evident of their team. They're going to hit the ball over the wall. They're going to drive in runs. They're going to steal bases.
Here's the 2-2. 3-2. We're talking about Chris Volstad being tall. He is. He's not the tallest Marlin ever, because they had Mark Hendrickson.
6'11".
Yeah, former NBA player. Here's the 3-2 on Coglin. And a ground ball foul. Coglin was so good in the second half last year. I mean, nobody mentioned him in the first half of Rookie of the Year. He had more than 100 hits after the All-Star break. And then garnered Rookie of the Year. Wow. That's 3 walks.
Let's take a look at the check swing. I thought Coglin did hold up on it. I mean, he never did break hands, didn't do anything out front, kept the angle of the bat back to prevent that from being called. Oliva wanted it. So did De La Rosa.
I thought he held up. I thought it was a strike on the pitch. Gabby Sanchez, he struck out looking on a breaking ball his first time up.
Well, you and I say it all the time. How did he take that pitch? Well, when you have nasty stuff, and you know you can't hit it, so you know what? I'll take my chances on a walk versus swinging and missing the pitch. It worked in the favor that time. De La Rosa's stuff is as nasty of any left-hander in baseball. He can do that.
Let's take a look at the Amica hit zone on Gabby Sanchez. Kid who hit over 300 in the minor leagues. Gap power.
To 125, 167. So 167 is a fastball up and then a hard slider down and away. Difficult handling. There's the fastball up and away.
He's been tardy with the swing on the heater. For each Colorado hit from now through the end of the season, Amica Insurance will donate $10 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Denver. Thank you, Amica. So we're talking about the Rookie of the Year last year. And yesterday we told you that 3 of the last 7 Rookies of the Year have played for the Marlins. Hanley Ramirez at shortstop. And Dontrell Willis, who's now pitching for the Detroit Tigers. Well, Coglin was first in voting last year, the 105. Jay Happ was next. Look at it. And then Tommy Hanson with Atlanta was a distant third. Andrew McCutcheon was 4th. Casey McGee was 5th. 5 good-looking young players.
Very good. And again, Hanson probably could have won the thing if he wouldn't have come up in June.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of it. You know, he wasn't there that long, along with McCutcheon and McGee with the Milwaukee Brewers.
All interesting stories. Here's the 1-2. And this is chopped up the middle. Should be double play. There's 1. There's 2. Good job by Troy Tulowitzki. More on the Rookie of the Year candidates from last season in a moment. 1-0 Colorado. Here we go, bottom of the third inning. Clint Barmas out of the 8-hole against Chris Volstad. The fastball tails inside, ball 1. Rockies have one base runner, and it was a brief base runner because Seth Smith was just passing on through. He hit one out. Jogged around the bases last inning. Other than that, a strikeout and 5 ground balls for Chris Volstad. 1-0 Colorado. And this ball is lined to center field. Get down. One of the things Davey Collins, the outfield instructor for the Marlins, teaches is play a shallow center field. Ross is a good center fielder. This date in history is brought to you by Dex One Marketing Solutions Business Results. April 25th, 1976. I remember it well, in the 4th inning of a game at Dodger Stadium. Cubs 30-year-old Rick Monday became a national hero when he took away an American flag about to be set on fire by a father and son duo in the outfield. Rick was in the Marine Corps Reserve for a number of years. You get to see Rick many times during the baseball season. An outstanding announcer for the LA Dodgers. Former #1 pick in the entire draft. The first draft, George, 1965.
Arizona State University.
Yeah. It's great to have a 400 hitter in the 9-hole, isn't it, Frazier? Two outs. Well, another look for Carlos Gonzalez. He had his bat broken and grounded out to short his first time.
Volstad's just got one of those disappearing sinkers. I mean, it's right out in front of the plate. It's running. It's 92 miles an hour, and then just that late dive and tail. Instead of getting the sweet part of the bat, you catch the end of it. For right-handers, it just jams you.
Plus, I mean, he is throwing downhill, isn't he?
6'8", going 90 to 93 mile an hour hard sinkers. Right-handers have only hit $184 coming into today's game. Left-handers just 261.
And this is lined to left field pretty deep. Going back and making the grab is Coghlan. So a loud out to end the third inning. We'll move to the 4th. The Rockies have the only run on the Seth Smith big fly. Fourth inning. Today's Fast Cash Sideline Report brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Let's check in again with Alana.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. The Rockies and FSN Rocky Mountain are encouraging fans to go green. It's part of their 26 games of green, and it's bike to the game. That's what they want you to do. In select home games for Colorado Rockies this season, you can ride your bike to the game, and you don't even have to worry about watching it, because there's going to be people that will do that for you. There's a lot set up on 21st and Blake where you can ride your bike, park it there, come in and enjoy some great Rockies action, go back out, get your bike, and go on home. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about watching it. It's all part of the 26 games of green. So be green, guys. Ride your bike. I know you live kind of far away, Drew, but you can get on your bike and ride it here.
But you know what? I love riding my bike. That sounds like a terrific idea. 1-1 on Hanley Ramirez. Well, went hitless last night, George, against Aaron Cook. First time in 15 career games at Coors Field, he did not have at least one hit.
Well, and I tell you what, there's a reason he doesn't lead off, obviously, because he can hit home runs, can drive in runs. But guess what he's hitting when leading off an inning for this year? 666.
That's pretty good. Not this time, though. Tulo's got a charge. Good pickup on the move. He's got Ramirez. One great shortstop cuts down another. The only way, George, is you know that you make that play is if you attack the baseball.
Well, you want to stay, you want to get in a position where you try to catch that high hop. If you wait back for the second one, you're really going to get burned. Now, Tulo came in and made a nice play on a short hop to the baseball, and as he got in a position, it made it easier to throw the baseball. But if he stays back, it's going to eat him up. Coming forward, the risk of a short hop, but he caught it so short, it was collected into the glove rather easily.
Off his left foot, circled it. Jorge Cantu takes ball one. Cantu popped to Tulowitzki his first time up. 2 hits in the ball game. Broken bat single for Cody Ross in the second, and the home run by Seth Smith for the Rockies in the second. Streak's over, George.
It is over, 21 games.
Yeah, well, that streak, and I just glanced at the scoreboard. The Padres lost to the Reds today 5-4.
Really?
So San Diego's 8-game winning streak is history.
Washington shut out the Dodgers 1-0 without Ramirez. They beat Billingsley.
People are going to start to realize what the Rockies saw, George, earlier this week. Washington's a whole different club.
Oh, no question. They really are. Caps has really solidified their bullpen, too, as a closer. Swing the bat well. Zimmerman gets back, and it's 100%. Look out.
This is fouled off late into the upper deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cantu.
Brad Penny's up to it again. St. Louis 2, San Francisco nothing.
Second half of last year when he was picked up
by San Francisco,
by the Giants. He's filled that role vacated by Joel Pinheiro. This is punched down the right field line. Now Gonzalez is thinking he may have a chance at Cantu. Here's the throw to second, and Cantu is in there safely. You could see it in his eyes from afar.
Well, he's thinking about, obviously, that he's going to have the play because he knows they're going to push the envelope with 1 out to get into scoring position with Uggla coming up behind. The Ford strike zone, ball well up out of the zone. Cantu just makes it a kind of an excuse-me swing, not an authority swing. Shoots it right by Helton. Now watch when Gonzalez gets down there. He's going to try to slide, stop, and pop up real quick and then make the throw. It's just unfortunate. Well offline with the throw, about 15 feet.
Now Dan Uggla, who walked his first time up. And that pitch is high, ball 1. Uggla's going to go down in recent memory as one of the best Rule 5 selections in baseball. Taking out the Arizona organization. And it happens. You can't protect everybody, and hopefully, when you expose somebody, if you do expose them, these teams do such great homework now, it's hard to let a talent slip through. Rockies lost Everett Cabrera to the Padres in a similar fashion. Figured, nobody would grab him because you have to put him on a big league roster for the whole year. And for the Rockies, Cabrera was down in Asheville. That's low A ball. And he was able to make the jump successfully.
Well, he was. And again, he was on the AAA roster, which they cover right at about 129 players total coverage between AAA and the big leagues, 40-man roster.
1 and 2 on Uggla with 1 out.
Well, the other guy I was trying to think of, wasn't Johan Santana, a Rule 5 pick with the Minnesota Twins?
He was.
How about that one?
He was. That's obviously one of the all-timers.
course, a very good player for the Rockies for a year or so before he started to have the injuries. Luis Gonzalez was very good.
Yeah.
It's a Rule 5 pick.
Here's a 2-2. Got him with a changeup. Big strikeout of Dan Uggla. And that is the second out and the fourth strikeout for De La Rosa. That'll bring up Ronnie Paulino, who bounced into a 6-4-3 double play. Rockies have turned 2 double plays behind De La Rosa today.
Well, here's that split-fingered changeup that he throws, and watch, it just gives the appearance out front. Uggla kind of a free swinger anyway. You get him to get ahead in the count, you'll get him to chase that pitch, but well placed by De La Rosa.
They may have a pick play on him. Yeah? Tulowitzki snuck in. Paulino darted towards the plate also. That was strange.
Well, he stepped all the way out. He was completely out of the box and then walked back into it again.
Guess he called time and Angel Hernandez didn't grant it.
And nor do they have to.
Nope. If they think the pitcher's already involved in his move toward the plate, if you will, they do not have to grant it.
Let's see if this happens. See, he's asking for time. What? Not going to give it to you. All right, you got to jump back in again. You get a strike call.
Well, the rule of thumb for the hitter is call time verbally, don't move until it's granted. That's high 2-1.
Most guys I found that I've talked to that call timeout as a hitter, they're not ready to hit anyway. They're not going to swing. Even if it's not granted or granted to them, very rarely do you see them swing unless it's 2-strike count. There's something wrong in their stance, the way they're holding the bat, their hands, they're uncomfortable. And that's the reason they're calling the timeout.
2-2. Doug did a little research, George, and this goes back. But I don't know if we'll come up with a better Rule 5 selection.
Well, it's a Rule 5 started. But you could draft a Rule 5. What year was that, Doug?
Goes back a ways because look whose name I'm showing. Roberto Clemente was a Rule 5 draft. Here's the 2-2, and it's popped foul.
So who Clemente originally signed with before he went to the Pirates? Brooklyn Dodgers. Okay. So every day you come to the park, it's whether you go to the history library of baseball or you watch the game. You see and learn something new every day. Hope they fired that GM at Brooklyn. I don't think so.
No. That would be Branch Rickey's tenure. I don't think Mr. Rickey was going to go anywhere. No. Nor should he have. It was a great Dodger team in the 50s. Their nemesis, other than 55, of course, the New York Yankees. Two and 2 on Ronnie Paulino. Cantu's at second. Rockies up 1-0. Trying to take 2 of 3 from Florida. Rockies 5-3 so far in 2010 at home. Got it. Strike 3. Poured over the outside corner at 96 miles an hour. Strikeout number 5. Cantu left in scoring position. Middle of 4, 1-0 Colorado. Time for a game recap brought to you by Land Rover. A bit about the pitchers today. Rockies have sent out Jorge De La Rosa. He has already struck out 5. He's got the lightning fastball and one of the best changeups in the game to complement it. Rockies have gotten the only run of the ball game courtesy of Seth Smith's 3rd home run of the year. Chris Volstad has been very good otherwise, and here he is against Dexter Fowler, who thought about laying down a bunt. Cantu came charging. Pitch was taken for a strike. Dexter 0 for 6 lifetime against Volstad. Never moved the bat in his first at bat against him. Struck out on 3 pitches. Off the plate 1-1.
Well, I felt like, too, the strikeout pitch on Dexter in his previous at bat was a curveball at 81, but it was off the plate. And it was called a strike, and the 4th strike zone showed just that. By the way, we were talking about Rule 5 draft, and most famous Roberto Clemente. It started out actually in 46. It's called the bonus rule. If you signed for a certain amount of money, you had to be kept in the big leagues all year that year. Don Zimmer, happened to him. But then in 1959, they changed it to the Rule 5 draft.
Okay.
But it used to be that if you signed for a certain amount of money, and I don't know exactly the amount. I think it was more than $5,000 because the salary back then was only $6,000.
Do you know who I think that happened to, George? And Doug can verify this. I think it happened to Sandy Koufax. This ball up the middle, on through, base hit, speed aboard, and Dexter Fowler. Sandy Koufax, many people probably know this, and some don't. Went to the University of Cincinnati out of Brooklyn to play basketball.
Right off the edge of the mound, but hit hard enough that Hanley Ramirez is not going to have a play on this baseball, so it goes into the outfield. Helton with a ground ball to shortstop in his previous at bat.
Todd, one of the most patient hitters in the game. You can run on Volstad. He is slow to the plate. That misses ball 1. And it's not unusual, George, for a big man to be slow to the plate. Look at all the damage the Rockies did against Chris Young last year.
No, that was ridiculous. 10. Yeah, well, a lot of it is, too. Some guys have different attitudes. And Volstad, Josh Johnson, another guy the same way. They're pretty much patented the way they are. We'll make picks to first, we'll hold the baseball, but we're not going to alter our delivery to the plate because they feel like it takes something away from the pitchers. A lot of guys don't agree with that.
Pitches per plate appearance, Todd always among the league leaders. Dexter had that huge day stealing bases against Chris Young, and he's going to dive back in. So basically what you're saying is some starting pitchers, relievers kind of have to slide step, don't they? But some starters won't do it.
Well, they don't do it. And again, it's because it disrupts their delivery. They don't feel like they can have quick arms, particularly guys that are long armed on the backside. It's harder for them to not to alter their delivery because they're going to be slow to the plate either way. Volstad's got a short, quick, fiery arm coming out.
That pitch was low. You can just tell Todd didn't say anything to Angel Hernandez, but we've seen that face so many times.
He got the look?
He had the look.
That is a bad, poor excuse of a pitch out. If that's what it was.
I don't think it was, though, Frazier, because it was 72 miles an hour. Well, you want to throw. It was a curveball, I think, that just slipped, wasn't it?
Don't know. It wasn't pretty. Either way, 2 balls and a strike on Todd Helton. 4th strike zone. You can see where the 1 pitch called strike was right on the corner and on the knees.
Dex is moving here. Nope. And this ball is hit well to right center field. Long run for Carroll. He's going to get there, and Fowler is going to have to return to first. That ball got hung up in that breeze.
That ball not get up against the wall around the ballpark. It had the sound to have the distance. That's for sure.
You know, looking at the big flags, George, at the top of the scoreboard, that's a pretty significant breeze. I think Todd thought he hit it well.
Let's look on the Hundycam to see exactly. Was it off the end of that? Was it down on the label a little bit? Front side open, back side drives. Hands inside. Caught it on a pretty good sweet spot. The only thing is it did have some movement on the pitch when it left the bat.
Good pitch out, and Fowler's not moving. You got to believe, Dex only gets a stop sign. So he's still trying to pick up the move of Chris Volstad. That would be, for me at least, George, the one explanation as to why we haven't seen him try it.
Just because you have a green light doesn't mean you have a green light that you have to go. He's trying to get certain reads on things, how long he sets and holds the ball. See, he had his sign there for a good couple of seconds, yet stared over Dexter.
2-0. Smith, who gave the Rockies a 1-0 lead with a home run, is on deck. Two and one. Well, the Dodgers, George, we were talking about Koufax. When he was 19, after his freshman year at the University of Cincinnati, they signed him to a bonus contract. They had to keep him in the big leagues. He got 12 games, had 5 starts in 1955. 2 balls and a strike on Tulowitzki. And Dexter Fowler lays out that 6'5.5" frame. Footwork isn't bad, is it?
No, it's not. He's got very good footwork. He was a good basketball player in high school. So obviously a decent athlete. Seen him swing the bat and run up the line. I mean, he's coordinated doing that part of the game. So obviously he's worked on his footwork on the mound on the pickoff to first.
And that's fouled off, 2-2. Two on Tulowitzki. One out, and the Rockies have for the 4th. Rockies have 2 hits, a Smith home run, a Fowler single leading off the inning. Volstad 48 pitches in. He's been very good.
I'm still a little bit surprised he hadn't given him a curveball yet. Tulowitzki.
Long drive, stay fair. It is hooking, foul.
Into the wind.
If your windshield has a crack in it, repair it. Here's how you do it. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. I never got to mention, what cracked me up last night? Helton played the first game, came in defensively in the second game. Wore the same uni in the second game, George, that he had on the first, because he was all dirty. Never changed.
And
Fowler started to go early, and this ball's pulled foul. Well, you do that in Little League, but the big leagues, you assume, he would have put on a fresh uni.
How many hits did he have in the first game?
That's what I was thinking, right?
Not many,
because Ricky Velasco is pretty good. I think, though, you're right. I think you're right. I think Todd was the only guy who got after Velasco. Todd had the 2 hits. That's why he was in the same uniform. I knew there was a reason. Our reports on Volstad, George, was that he was
he looks
slow to the plate, but look at his last time.
I'm going to say he's about 125 to 1-3.
You're right on, buddy.
1-3.
1-3-1. And maybe that's one of the reasons, because Glenn Allen Hill at first base doing the same thing. He's timing him. Dexter 3-2, though, has got to be moving. What do you think?
Well, I would think so. I mean, of course.
There he goes. And this ball's hot foul out of play.
Particularly with a 1-0 lead, I think it just lends to your advantage. Base hitting the gap, you make it a 2-0 game. You stay out of a double play ball when he's in the move that quick.
And that may be the biggest key of all, because you have a ground ball pitcher out there. He's already induced a bunch of ground balls here with one out in the fourth inning. Outside, ball 4. There was the breaking ball, George, but it wasn't close.
Nope, I thought it'd be a little bit quicker than that, but it wasn't.
So 2 on for Seth Smith. Time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Seth Smith, second inning. They tried to come in on him. Bad idea. He got the barrel out, drove it into the seats in right field. Over the auxiliary scoreboard, 1-0 Colorado. That's where we stand right now. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Good at bat for Tulowitzki. First walk by Volstad. Outside, ball 1. Chris Coughlin playing shallow and left, I think because of the wind. This ball's hit high in deep right field. Did Smith hit another? You bet! 3-run jack, Seth Smith. $4-0 Colorado. Nice player to come off your bench, huh, Trace?
Yeah, not bad, huh? Had been slumping with the average, but not with the long ball and the RBIs for Seth Smith. 4 RBIs, 2 home runs, and you're in the 4th inning of a game, you're having a pretty good day.
Second career multi-home run game. The other one came September 6th of last year for Seth Smith against Arizona. And they tried to go in on him again. When will they learn?
Well, obviously not just yet. That's something now. It's kind of funny because that ball again was up into the strike zone. He was able to get his hands through it, drive it. Ended up in the right part of the ballpark. Out.
Four RBIs for Seth Smith. Here's Miguel Olivo, and that's in there 2-2. Second Rocky to have a multi-home run game this year. Brad Hopp turned the trick against the Padres. This ball toward the hole, and Ramirez going to have to eat the baseball. Leg hit for Miguel. He almost had one of those last time he hit the ball to Ramirez. That'll bring up Ian Stewart. Stewart hit a chopper to second. That's low, ball 1. Well, after a small pitch count entering the inning, the Rockies have been able to elevate it a little bit on Volstad here in the 4th. One and one. There's Smith watching his teammate Stewart, who played all 18 innings yesterday. Two and one. To Volstead, you don't want to go to sleep on Miguel Olivo.
Well, you can. I mean, he stole a base earlier in the year, too. And what you're trying to induce now is just a ground ball that you can hopefully flip a double play with.
3 and 1.
You have to throw a strike first. Freddie Gonzalez and his new pitching coach, Randy St. Clair, walked into the view of Freddie, trying to make a decision on who to get up.
There goes Olivo, and this ball pulled to first, and it pays off for the Rockies because Gabby Sanchez, it was smoked. He looked to second, but he had no play. And now the Rockies, because they put Olivo in motion, have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Clint Barmas, see if they put him on with first base open. Well, the home run, AAA, how far did it travel? Smith's second home run traveled 420 feet. How far did it travel? Brought to you by AAA Travel.
How can you walk him and get to a guy to hit 400?
It's a tough lineup, George.
It's a tough lineup. Well, he's thinking about Clint Barmas and the laser he lined out to center field with. His first at bat, he's 5 for 13 with runners in scoring position, so that makes a little bit easier job for Freddie Gonzalez to look at him and look at De La Rosa, even though De La Rosa had some RBIs that last game. Obviously, it's an obvious choice.
So Barmas will go to first, and the 8th man to hit in the inning will be Jorge De La Rosa, who has enjoyed the time off the mound with his club scoring 3 runs. The Rockies pitchers are getting it done, coming into the ball game second to Houston. The Houston pitchers hitting better than the everyday guys. This ball is lined to left field, and Coughlin will reach up and make the catch. Honestly, how much better a hitter is he this year than last year?
It's unbelievable, the difference.
Seth Smith, have an afternoon. He's gone Little League on us. 2 bobs, 4 ribbies, 4-0 Colorado. Top of the 5th inning. Today's kid question is brought to you by Promoting Responsible Fatherhood. Be there for your kids. It matters. Now, here's Alana Rizzo with more. Alana?
All right, Drew and George, I'm out here with David and Eric Grover, and I understand that 5-year-old Eric has a question, but David's going to go ahead and ask it for him. Go ahead.
With all the new stadiums being built, where's the best place to watch a ball game?
That's a loaded question. I happen to like Coors Field as one of my favorites. Why don't you guys go ahead and answer that one?
Well, Coors Field is clearly one of the best, and it will be for a long time. They did a marvelous job when they constructed this facility, which opened in '95. It's a great vantage point for us, selfishly, George, as broadcasters. Some of my other favorite ballparks, I like the old ones. I like where you used to play at Wrigley. I love Fenway. And of the newer ones, Safeco in Seattle and AT&T in San Francisco, our vantage point there is marvelous.
Well, it is. I like San Diego also. I just think that just because of the ballpark looking down the skyline, where it's located along the ocean front, it's pretty neat. Hey, if I'm at a yard watching a game, I'm happy regardless where it is, but Coors Field is one of those special places just because you've been here so long. And, walking the halls here.
It's home.
They talk.
Yep. 0-2 on Cody Ross. 2 hits for the Marlins. A single by Ross, a double by Cantu. De La Rosa has walked 3. He has struck out 5. 1-2. Pitch count better than it was in his last outing, George, but still not where you'd like to see it. He's at 79. You hope for a real short inning. He's working in the bottom third.
Well, Jim Tracy's comfortable with his starters in that 90 to 115, 120 range. I know that's about 30 pitches. But depending on how they get to those.
Nice catch. That'll work.
Quick out. About 110 miles an hour right to the glove. Well, here's the shot. I mean, it's all about reaction and timing. I mean, I'm not sure Stewart even knew that it was timed that well. He just made a nice leap for the catch.
Time for our Xcel Energy fun fact. We alluded to this last night and again today. 146 ball games between the 293 expansion franchises, 73 apiece. Look how close the runs, the hits. There's 2 that separate them. All the games, you tell me there's only a difference of 2 hits? That's crazy.
Yeah, how about that? 1,375 to 1,373.
Even the runs, for that many games to be within 17 runs of one another. Did you know that you could sign up for an in-home energy audit and learn simple ways to save around your house from Xcel Energy? Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Brett Carroll with Chris Volstad on deck. In the air down the right field line, the wind's got it, and it's headed to the seats.
How about this? You talk about numbers. All-time wins. The Marlins have 1,293. The Rockies have 1,290.
Pretty wild.
2 teams have accomplished a lot of the same things. Playoffs, World Series. They have 2 big rings. The Rockies just won.
1-1 on Brett Carroll. That'll take us to our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. Text your answers as always to 95323. Do you prefer sitting behind home plate or out in the bleachers? Text Rocks 1 for home plate. It's where the action is. Text Rocks 2 for bleachers. It's where the action
Well, I
is.
was getting ready to say, is it a hot day? Because Wrigley Field and the bleachers can be real amusing.
It can be amusing whether it's hot or not.
But, I mean, it can be really amusing.
That is one way of describing it. Volstad squared the bunt. That pitch missed by 3 feet. .48 strikes, 36 balls by Jorge De La Rosa. Volstad grounded to third his first time up. That was awkward. I think that tied up Barmes. See how he caught that baseball?
Not how you want to, I know that.
Tied up Clint.
Well, just watch. I mean, this ball gets on him. It's kind of one of those little quick, snappy throws. the catchers have. You're thinking about catching it out front, all of a sudden you kind of reverse the glove and then just pull it to the middle part of your body. 2 outs, top of the order for Cargo. Excuse me, top looking the other way. Thinking ahead.
Did you make a trade?
I'm thinking ahead. Coughlin's up, a left-hander that has not hit lefties well at all. He's walked him and he struck him out.
Yeah, let's not trade him.
Coughlin's 2 for 18 against left-handers this year. I don't like this conversation.
Is he okay?
That's the conversation I hope they're not having.
The only reason to assume he's okay, George, is that Keith Duggar and Scotty Garrett
didn't come with him. Yep,
Bob out to the mound. I also don't want to see him get on that phone right now.
Well, you know what? Bob's talking to him.
Yeah, you're right. He's got a blister maybe going. Did you get those, George?
No. A guy named Jim Brewer showed me a way to spray. And when you start throwing in the spring, your tips of your fingers start to get tender. And then you used to take them with an ice cube and like freeze them, and it would make it extremely hard, and never had any problems with it. But I think the dry air here in Colorado sometimes affects people differently. John Thompson had to have a fingernail removed. So you look down at it again right after the pitch.
And there may be certain pitches, correct me if I'm wrong, that you really feel it more.
Well, you feel more,
twist the breaking ball. Or
riding on a seam, so the fastball on a 2-seam versus a 4-seam on the curveball, where your fingers are on the slider. Once I started to think about this, so really the only time he's shown a really good curveball today was when he struck out Cotton. Then he had a swing and a miss, strike one on his next pitch.
2-strike count with a runner at second and 2 outs. And a line drive, base hit. And this is going to bring in a run. Unless this throw gets there in time, safe. Pretty good throw by Gonzalez. Moving to second on the hit is Coghlan. He hung a breaking pitch, or maybe it was a changeup up in the zone. And it's 4-1. You got the matchup you wanted. Coghlan had been miserable against left-handed pitchers. De La Rosa hadn't given up any hits against lefties, and there's the first.
Yeah, now all of a sudden Coghlan with 3 hits against left-handers and 14 trips. He hasn't hit the ball well either, again, with runners in scoring position, now 3 for 14.
You got to be careful, because Sanchez gets a hit, and all of a sudden it's a 2-run game. And that's on through. Gonzalez up with it. Here's the throw to the plate again. That's offline, and moving to second once again is Sanchez with Ramirez coming up. It's 4-2.
Twice in a row now that the relay throw has been let go through or been off target, and it's allowed the batter who got the base hit to advance into scoring position. There's a shot exactly what Gonzalez is seeing out in front of him. He's going to take the throw, take the ball, and he's come up firing and trying to throw, but it's offline. And when they see that it's offline, they're going to go. Now, Davy Collins, you see him there in your picture. Trust me, he understands how to play the outfield at Coors Field, Bilal getting loose, and how to take shots and advantages of it.
Ramirez a walk and a ground ball to short. De La Rosa 90 pitches in. Boy, he had Coghlan 0-2. 2-0.
To a changeup, it appeared, and again, a bad breaking ball hitter against the left-hander.
Terrific numbers against De La Rosa. Terrific numbers against the Rockies. 348. 3-0. You can't go out to the mound again if you're Apodaca. You have Cantu on deck, who's been an RBI machine. He'll be hacking here. It's in there. If it was to his liking, you have to believe he'd be swinging there. 3-1. Three and two. Ramirez can't believe it. And you don't see that very much. He put his arms out.
Well, let's look
Hernandez
and see.
as if to say,
let's just look at it. Forward strike zone. Popped into the glove. Caught the corner.
Ball had so much cut on it, George. It's hard for Olivo to handle. 3-2 with Gabby Sanchez at second base. Got it. All the way back to strike out Ramirez. In the inning, though, 2 runs on a couple of hits. There was also a hit batter. 4-2 Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G experience. AT&T, a better 3G experience. By Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. By Big Brothers, Big Sisters, be big and donate your car. You get a free tow and tax break and you'll help change a kid's life. And by Dex One, Marketing Solutions, business results. The 0-1 is fouled off. It's 0-2. Carlos Gonzalez leading off the bottom of the 5th inning with the Rockies ahead 4-2. See the Rockies get those runs back. And this is pulled into the hole. A base hit for Gonzalez.
Blau continued to warm up down on the Rockies bullpen. A good indication. De La Rosa's fingers obviously going to probably have him exit this ball game early, since Blau continued to throw after the inning ended.
And he's holding it. Then what your concern is, George, that you can get it calmed down. It's not just to make your start 5 days from now. You got to get your work in between starts, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's more important to get that thing settled down. Until maybe you can throw a light bulb pin 2 days before you start and then go out and make your start. But to get it all calmed down, it should be able to do it fairly quickly, depending on the severity of it and where it is and where it's located.
A line drive toward the gap in left center field. Run, baby, run. That's going to trickle toward the track. Here's Cargo around third. He'll score. Fowler heading to third. He's in there with a triple. Well, all all those good ABs for naught are starting to pay off for number 24. Remember all the loud outs?
Oh, I know, and everybody started to question. Some people thought that is it going to be the jinx, the sophomore jinx, and how they figured out to pitch Dexter Fowler. Now all of a sudden those line drives are starting to come. Last night he had a one-hopper dead center field at 4:15 that went over the wall. Here he's got one that shot the gap in left center field and got through his third triple, of the season. And Dexter picks up an RBI in the process.
Infield comes in halfway. Helton at the plate. Ball one. Todd's 0 for 2. Rockies up 5-2. Fowler is now 5 for his last 6. One and one.
By the way, Dexter's first RBI of the season with that triple.
And Dexter in the nightcap yesterday. Double, walk, walk, single, single. 2 and 1. And Fowler in this ball game 2 for 3. Boy, they're exciting up top. Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler. 2 and 1 on Helton. And this one to short. It ricochets into center field. That'll get it done. Fowler jogs home. Helton with nobody covering second till now is going to be out. Todd saw Hanley Ramirez still 15 feet from the bag and tried to sneak attack.
The ball's going to be hit extremely hard, and that's where it's going to come up straight into the air. And then Ugler alertly goes after the baseball. Helton continues to go, and that's where they made the snap throw in, and yet still a fairly close play at second base. Good hustle by the veteran.
They haven't scored it yet. Tulowitzki at the plate with 1 out. Off the plate, ball 1. One and one. This ball's hit well to left field. Coughlin reaches up, can't get it. Tulowitzki in the second. He's got another double. For Troy, his 6th double of the year. George, second and third time through, the Rockies have figured out Chris Volstad.
They have the fastball. He started to elevate it as his pitch count got up above 60, and then all of a sudden, when that started to happen, they set on the breaking ball as Tulowitzki did here, and he drove it out into left center field for a double out, or to left field out over the head of Chris Coughlin up against the wall. So now you got the home run king, Seth Smith, with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and Badenhop warming up in their bullpen for the Florida Marlins.
(6-2) Colorado. They have scored that ball to shortstop, and I think it's scored accurately. It is an error on Hanley Ramirez. No RBI for Helton. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question. Freddie Gonzalez is going to go to his bullpen. Miguel Olivo has 100 home runs. That's 8th among active catchers. Who's the all-time leader in home runs among catchers? Think about that one for a while, and we'll give you the answer in a little bit. Chris Volstad, very good early. Not so good in the middle innings. He's gone, trailing 6-2 in the 5th. test drive it today. The Arizona Diamondbacks are coming to town. They'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and off day. The Rockies will travel late in the afternoon to the city by the bay. And that'll be a lengthy road trip, a 3-city road trip, all in the National League West. That's the road ahead, brought to you by E470. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo, Seth Smith, spin up twice. He's done a little damage. Solo home run, 3-run home run. And this is line foul. He comes up with Troy Tulowitzki at second base. If you're wondering, 11 times the Rockies, if you look at Burt Batenhop's resume in 2010, 11 times a Rockies player has hit 3 homers in a game. The last being Larry Walker, June 25th, 2004 in Cleveland. I remember that one well. 1-1. In fact, Larry did it 3 times. Big Cat did it. Mike Lansing did it. Vinny Castilla did it. Helton's done it twice. Jeff Cirillo, Todd Hollinsworth, and Jose Ortiz out the inside corner.
So Batenhop came over in the trade for Cabrera when he went to Detroit, along with 25 other guys. Came up to Florida in 08, went 2-3 at that period over 13 ball games. A year ago, pitched in 35 games, went 7-4.
4 ribbies already for Smith. Another one out there at second. Freddie Gonzalez looked in the on-deck circle, and he knew that Smith was coming up. So now, no way Volstead's facing him again.
Quite honestly, I'd have probably threw him over at first base, even though a 4-run lead just set up a double play ball with a right-on-right with a leader.
This ball pulled to second. Tulowitzki will move to third. Here comes Olivo. The Rockies are leading 6-2. They have out-hit the Marlins 7-4. On an emotional day, the Rockies patient at the plate, especially after the first couple of innings against Volstead. It looked good early.
They have looked good early. I mean, obviously, it was a very emotional scene with the 4 children and Roy McGregor throwing out the first pitch, and then for the team to embrace them as they did in the center of the field. And then, oh, by the way, let's go play baseball. Very emotional, and it took a little time for this motor to get running.
You know, late in the pregame show, as we covered the first pitch, there was a shot at Troy Tulowitzki, and he was not alone. It just so happens that we had a shot at Troy. And tears streaming down his face, and literally, you know, minutes later, he has to take the field. And is honoring Kelly on the eye black. Outside, 2 balls and a strike in Olivo. High and deep left field. Did Miguel get another one? You bet. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Home run number 5, Miguel Olivo. Make it 8-2 Rockies. That is one strong man. Through a significant wind over that left field wall. Over 400 feet from home plate.
Well, I laugh because the National League scout today said, well, you don't want to throw him a fastball. Well, they sure have been doing a lot of it, and when they do throw it, and it stays up into that strike zone, he seems to really make them pay for it. That ball was flat smacked. Belt-high heater out over the middle of the plate and into a huge wind. Look at this Hyundai Cam. Watch his eyes. Oh, I love seeing this heater. You talk about feeling good. Look at all that drive and extension driving the baseball out of the yard.
1 ball, 1 strike on Stewart. Ten RBIs for Miguel Olivo now. Stewart with the buggy whip swing is behind 1 and 2. That's 101 home runs, 100 walks. Why walk when you can hit it 4 miles?
That one had the sound immediate.
Two and two. Oh, we got tacos again also, George. Colorado's got 8 runs. 4 to 6 tomorrow at participating Colorado Taco Bell location. Strike 3. Stewart didn't like that call. Look on that scoreboard, folks. 8 runs and 8 hits. Time for our job done right player of the series. We can give this away now, can't we? Troy Tulowitzki. He's 5 for 11. His work's not done yet. Couple RBIs, couple of doubles. Got that average over 300 in the month of April, which has been a tough month for him early in his career. Job done right player of the series presented by the Colorado Association of Mechanical and Plumbing Contractors. To have your next building or service project done right the first time, visit jobdoneright.org. Tulo in the field. Rockies have made a change on the hill. Jorge De La Rosa, and we're guessing, but it seemed pretty obvious, he's having an issue in the area of a blister on his middle finger. And so after 5 innings, De La Rosa in line for a W, but it'll give way to Matt Belisle. Jorge Cantu takes high ball 1.
Well, Belisle is one of 3 Rockies with a scoreless streak running. Not hoping I jinx you in any way, Matt. It's gone 8 innings without giving up a run. 9 2/3 overall. The bullpen earned run average of 2.13 is ranked number 1 in the National League at this time. Matt Daly, a 7-inning scoreless streak, and yesterday, after the fine outing of Manuel Corpus, his 6-inning scoreless streak there. Dexter will float under and get the first one here in the 6th.
1 out. Here's what we were referencing going to break. Kelly McGregor, a 2-time All-American tight end at Colorado State, wore number 88, his jersey. Hangs in the Rockies dugout. Right now, the Rockies have 8 runs on 8 hits. And I know Rory McGregor looking on next door. Taylor, Landry, Jordan, Logan. That's not lost on them. 1-0 on Dan Uggla. 0 for 1 and a walk. George, you took your hands over your head. You have a philosophy, or does it matter? It's an individual thing as to whether a guy does like Belisle and is, Jimmy Cott, who you played with, no windup, or some guys take it over their head. Do you, have a preference, or you think it should be a personal thing?
I think it's a matter of when you can get your hand out of the glove and get into proper throwing motion, whether it's over your head or in front of you. Some guys have the ability to separate the hands quickly out of the glove and get on top. Some guys will float forward and the hand never gets out. And then therefore the pitches are up. And then he's going to get right in on the hands, and there's like a T-ball game for a minute on the mound. Everybody wanted the ball.
See, and you know, and Bala was thinking, you could see the brain working there. So, you know, it's right to me. Should I catch it? I know I'm not supposed to.
But he's sitting on the mound waiting for somebody to tell him to get out of the way is what he's doing.
Let's take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch. Volstad hit 94. De La Rosa 96 on several occasions. That's brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. Colorado leading 8-2. 2 outs, nobody on. Ronnie Paulino 0 for 2. 6-4-3 double play in the second. Caught looking in the fourth. De La Rosa goes 5 innings. He's on the plus side, obviously. 2 runs, 4 hits. He struck out 6 and walked 3. Did hit a batter. Well, he has a golden opportunity, George, to improve his record to 3-1. And if he does, since June 1st of last year, De La Rosa will be 19-4, more wins than any other starting pitcher in the game.
Well, think about this too, because the names that are on that list with him at 19-4, Adam Wainwright 17-7 after the loss last night. Ubaldo Jimenez at 16-6. So 2 of the top 3 since June 1st pitched for the Rockies is A and 1A. And then Chris Carpenter and Felix Hernandez and CC Sabathia. Obviously, Cy Youngs and guys that are going to be in the top 5 at Cy Youngs. 2 of those guys are in a Rockies uniform.
All true aces. 8-2 Rockies. 1-2-3 inning for Belial. Welcome back to the 6th inning. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Seth Smith has connected twice in this ballgame. Solo home run in the second, and then 2 innings later with 2 men aboard, he crunched one as well. 2 home run, 4 RBI afternoon for Seth Smith. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Cam. It's beginning to sprinkle here at Coors Field. Saw where there's potential snow in the forecast later. What's going on? A rough weather week as well. Clint Barmas will lead it off against Burke Badenhop. Badenhop got the final 2 outs in the 5th inning. Miguel Olivo took him deep. Final line on Chris Volstad. After 3 quality starts, he goes 4 1/3 here in Denver. Gives up 7 runs on 7 hits. You know, he had made his big league debut, talking about Volstad, in this ballpark in July of 2008 in relief, and he actually got the win. Today he's on the other side of the ledger. 3-0. Belial's going to get the swing to bat. For the first time this year. He's preparing. Ball 4. Clint Barnes goes to first. Let's answer the AT&T trivia question. Who's the all-time home run leader among catchers? Johnny Bench hit a bunch. Yogi Berra hit a bunch, but nobody hit more than Mike Piazza. 427. The active leader's the guy the Rockies just saw, Pudge Rodriguez. That's a good bump by Block.
Yeah. Well, where has Piazza gone?
He's retired. He's got a family.
Well, I understand. You just never see him anymore. A lot of guys with his stature and what he accomplished in the game, they either end up on a highlight show somewhere or working in New York at some spot. You just haven't seen any sign of Mike since he retired.
Yeah, that's a good point. Doug's going to do a little research. Doug, Google him, see what he's up to. Carlos Gonzalez, a single and a run scored last inning. George, there's so many channels. We may have a variety show that we've never seen. This ball hard on the ground is short. Barnes to third with 2 outs. Geico quote of the day, Trader Jack. He said it, Jack McKeon. I never learned my baseball out of a book. I learned it by doing it and watching the best in the game do it. I go all the way back to Branch Rickey.
Oldest manager at 72 years old to win a world championship managing the Florida Marlins.
Up the middle, and they're going to get Fowler this time. Nice play by Hanley Ramirez. Vargas left at third base. Rockies ahead 8-2 as we move to the 7th at Coors Field. Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by the official fan-to-fan marketplace of the Colorado Rockies. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 club level seats. By Comcast Searchlight Channel 888 on your Comcast remote for real estate, automotive, careers, and more. And by your neighborhood Toyota dealers. Toyota moving forward. Ouch.
The dogs are barking.
All right, we did exhaustive research, George, on Mike Piazza. We got a little help, too. Piazza, well, let's look at the replay first on Cody Roth.
It's not good. Hard ground ball, and they just kind of take it off with the shin. A little burger going on. And off the top of the foot. So who looked it up for us?
An old friend, and he let us know that Larry Walker was actually the hitting coach for the Italian national team during the WBC.
Not Larry Walker. Piazza was.
Mike Piazza. Who said
Yeah.
that? Did I say Larry Walker?
You
I
said Larry Walker.
No, Mike Piazza. Larry Walker, we know what he's doing. He's just in town. He's doing well. I told you he lost 20 pounds. He looks great. But Mike Piazza is the hitting coach. Well, he was during the WBC. And he's living in South Florida with his family. So I guess the next time the WBC comes around, we'll know what he's doing. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2-2. Ross 1 for 2. Robbed of a double his last time up. Leaping catch by Stewart. He's not going to get robbed here of a double, at least a double. Gonzalez will fire it back in, and Ross is 2 for 3. That'll bring up Brett Carroll, a strikeout, and he was hit by a pitch. Swung on and missed. 8-2 Colorado. Top of inning number 7. Arizona, George, I was just looking up their score. They're 7-6 leading the Phillies in the bottom of the 8th inning. And they came into the contest 7-10. But they're hitting the long ball again. Mark Reynolds hit his 7th. How about Kelly Johnson? He hit his 7th today. Came over from Atlanta to play second base. He's hitting bombs left and right.
Playing in Arizona, too. Today they are.
And Brett Carroll frustrated, but he's gone. Malai with his first strikeout. It's going to be Mike Lamb pinch hitting in the pitcher's spot. Lamb didn't pull the trigger. It's in there. Ross at second base. He doubled. There's one out.
90 to 94 mile an hour fastball for Belisle to go along with a pretty good breaking ball. He's really found his niche here in this bullpen of the Rockies. And again, somebody coming out, just throw it as hard as he can. There's no pace to the game, as he was drafted as a starting pitcher. #1 draft pick with Cincinnati. Hard thrower. Since going down at the last year about mid-season before being recalled in September, he worked as the closer at Colorado Springs and got the attitude he needed to have coming out of the bullpen. Very aggressive guy throwing strikes.
The guy at the plate, Mike Lamb. It's one of those names, George, you hear it every year and then all of a sudden you lose track. You're talking about Piazza. Obviously, Piazza's a future Hall of Famer. Lamb wasn't in the big leagues at all last year. He spent the entire year at Buffalo. With the New York Mets farm system. He's a non-roster invitee. He's made the Marlins. Last in the big leagues with Minnesota and Milwaukee in 08. He had some real productive years with Houston. 4 times he had double-digit home runs, driving 45 to 55 runs. This is 2-2. Hit over 300 one year, in fact, 2006. Looking to save energy and money? Find out how the little changes add up at TogetherWeSave.com. Your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative, delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. On the ground to first, Helton knocks it down. Looking for Belial, safe there. And the runner at third, Ross, is going to head back to third. He had thoughts of going home. Todd, all right? He's getting up.
Well, hard ball hit right at Todd Helton. Going to have a difficult play. Same playing off of the line a little bit. He's got to take 2 steps over, try to backhand. Hits off the heel. He finds it. And then the snap throw over. Now, what really alerts here, kids, watching a ball game. Runner on second. You know he's rounding third as a pitcher. Make sure you spin and check your runner. That prevented it from happening.
Chris Coghlan, 1 for 2 and a walk. Rockies' chance to go over 500 today with a win. They're 9-9. The Marlins are 10-8. Off speed, 1-1. Out of Austin, Texas, Matt Belial. Rockies All Access tonight. 9 o'clock right here on FSN Rocky Mountain. How about that hack?
And why did he swing at it on a 2-2 count?
I give him credit for getting a piece of that. That could have been easy. That was 93, up and in, and I mean up. Somehow he nicked it. Ross doubled. He's at third now. Mike Lamb, an infield hit. He's at first. Strike 3. Locked him up, and Coghlan's gone. That's out number 2 in the 7th inning. And quickly, let's check in with Alana as Gabby Sanchez comes up. Alana?
All right, thanks very much, Drew. Time now for our exempla injury report. In case you missed it, outfielder Brad Hopp has been placed on the 15-day DL with a strained left quadriceps. It's been bothering him for about 2 weeks now. They're trying to be cautious with him. And Eric Young Jr. was recalled from AAA Colorado Springs to take his place on the active roster, guys.
And there is Eric Young Jr. Sanchez takes a strike. When Jim Tracy, late in spring training, told Eric Young Jr. that he was sending him down, he said, hey, listen, you're a big part of this ball club, and it's going to take more than the 25 that start the season at the beginning of April. There's a base hit that'll drive in a run. He said, keep your head up, do your work, because I know you will, and you're going to be a big part of things. Well, you never want to see somebody get hurt, especially a Brad Hopp who was tearing it up. But Eric Young Jr. has been brought up. And again, the quality of an organization, how good you are at the big league level, George, is often how good you are at the 2 levels right below the big leagues.
Well, a lot of times, too, managers, when they send you out, they'll make that comment to you because they don't want you to go pout. They want you to go play hard and be prepared so when this does happen. Well, a lot of guys go down. When they do go down, it's difficult on them. Sometimes they have a tough time adjusting to going back down if they felt like they were going to be here at the big league level. Jim Tracy's gone to the bullpen. Mr. Daly warming up for the Rockies. Belisle's first run in 9 2/3 innings. Good job, Matt Belisle.
Question, behind home plate or in the bleachers, which is your preference? Almost right down the middle, 51%. Want to be right behind the catcher and the umpire. 49% say, hey, give me the rock pile. See if we're getting more votes. Text your answers as always to 95323, our Brakes Plus poll of the day. Go to Brakes Plus, get a great deal on an oil change, or if you have more significant work, you'll get a discount as well.
See, true, you got everybody going again.
Yeah. It's not like the Mets-Yankees won the other day, though, huh? Hanley Ramirez against Matt Daly. Righty's 2 for 16 this year against Matt Daly. 2 on. This is not the guy you want to see up. 8-3 Colorado. Ramirez 0 for 2 and a walk. First 3 at bats were against De La Rosa. 2 outs in the 7th inning. Two and 0. Miguel Oliva will jog out. Miguel's a very assertive catcher, and that's something you want, George, I would think, behind the plate. You want a guy to, 5 pitches out of the zone before he calls timeout. I mean, he's going to go right away.
Well, sometimes it works a way that you kind of try to light an engine under somebody a little bit if you think they come in and they're kind of passive or they're not pushing the envelope like you want. A couple of ways. One, to go to the mound. The other one is fire a bullet back right at them and tell them, let's go. And sometimes that will change the attitude of a guy on the mound.
That's in there. Did you ever have a guy throw it back to you harder than you were throwing it to him?
Steve Lake with the Cubs. Great arm, just couldn't hit. I mean, he couldn't hit the ocean with a boat paddle, but man, he could really catch and throw.
So you didn't take 2 steps in to receive the ball, did you?
No.
Here's the 2-1. Just missed 3-1. Well, Hanley Ramirez has a reputation as an ultra aggressive guy at the plate, and he's been pretty patient.
Remember his previous at bat, though, had 2 inside fastballs called for strikes. He wasn't pleased with Angel Hernandez. Kind of voiced it as he walked back to the dugout. 2 inside fastballs that had been inside, just had not been called.
Well, that's way inside, and Ramirez is gone. I don't know what that's about. It may be nothing, but Hanley stood at the plate as if, okay, is that ball 4? And obviously there was no question it was. So now the bases are loaded for Cantu. Don't let Florida back in this ball game. Cantu tied for first in the National League in ribbies with 20 with Ryan Braun and Matt Kemp.
Cantu, for me, a dead pull hitter. Now, he went away on a high fastball for a base hit. And that bat earlier. It's a head strike one. Let's look at the hit zone. Brought to you by Amica. See, everything likes to be extended out here. Particularly out over the plate, you can jam him at 167 average in on the hands. Your club 375 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Cantu's only had 1 shot in this situation. Came up empty-handed.
Well, with runners on base, period, the Marlins came into this ball game hitting 321. That's the best mark in the National League. When the bases are empty, they were hitting 220, which was the second worst mark. That'll lower that average right here. Here's the 1-1, and it's fouled off. So now Daly takes control, 1-2. Mike Lamb is at third base. He had an infield hit. Gabby Sanchez, an RBI ground ball single to left, is at second, and Hanley Ramirez just walked. 8-3 Colorado. Daly to Cantu.
Not where they wanted, so that's probably why it did not get called. So watch what happens with your catcher. The ball's probably caught enough plate, but because of the huge move by Oliva, it doesn't get called.
Two. Look out. 3-2.
Fastball at 88. Just tried to overthrow it a little bit.
Three and two with 2 outs. In the air to center field. Easy play for Dexter Fowler. And Matt Daly gets his man. A lot of traffic, but only 1 run. And the Rockies have a 5-run lead. Stretch time at Coors Field. And as we like to do every Sunday, we stick around for God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we honor our great country with the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing
8-3 Colorado, bottom of the 7th. Reniel Pinto's in the ball game. Todd Helton's got a bat in his hands, and he takes strike one. Todd is 0 for 3 in the ball game. Didn't reach momentarily in the 5th inning on an error by Hanley Ramirez. Tried to move to second on the play and was cut down.
Pinto, a guy, when he first came up, he threw the ball fairly hard. He still can get it above 90. Sees 225 earned run average over his 4 innings, 4 hits given up. He has 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks. The key is inherited runners. 2 of those 5 have scored, but he typically attacks left-handers with a hard slider. That was up to 84 miles an hour. He's been with this organization 3 or 4 years and trying to work out of their bullpen. That's final out in Arizona, Drew. They won 8-6 over the Phillies.
Well, we'll see those Diamondbacks tomorrow. Reynolds is 7th. Kelly Johnson his 7th.
They'll start to get a run on the National League West now with the Diamondbacks here, and then it's off to San Francisco.
Todd pops it foul. It's out of play. Let's take a look at our Comcast Sunday afternoon game summary. Rockies leading 8 runs and 8 hits. Still up on the board. 88. 3 runs, 7 hits, and an error for Florida. Rockies have hit 3 home runs. Smith has 2 home runs. And Miguel Olivo, with a 3-run home run yesterday, has added a 2-run shot in this ball game. Here's a 3-2 to Todd. And a ground ball to Ramirez. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. Troy's 1 for 2 and a walk. Scored a couple of runs. His 1 hit was a double. Well, National League scoreboard, George, on a Sunday. That's in Atlanta. Get going in a little while. Cincinnati cooled off San Diego 5-4. The Padres had won 8 straight. Rhodes got the win. Adams the loss. Cordero got his 7th save. Adrian Gonzalez hit his 6th home run. Brandon Phillips his 3rd. That's a little bit low. You mentioned it earlier. Washington just beat the Dodgers 1-0. Olsen pitched well. Scott Olsen beat Billingsley. Taps his 8th save. Houston got a rare victory. They beat Pittsburgh 10-3. Berkman his 1st home run of the year. Cubs beat up Milwaukee 12-2 in Milwaukee. Randy Wells got the win. Dave Bush the loss. Colvin his 3rd. Fukudomi his 3rd. Derek Lee his 4th. Giovanni Soto is 2nd. That's low. 3-0. Cardinals behind Brad Penny beat the Giants 2-0 in San Francisco. Penny's now 3-0 with an 0.94 ERA. And you know who got the loss, don't you, George? You don't even have to look at their rotation. No runs scored. Who was pitching for the Giants?
Matt King.
Absolutely. He's 0-1 with a 3.80 ERA. Ever since that guy arrived in the big leagues, the offense takes the day off when it's his turn.
Every time, and it seems to be a lot of Sunday ball games. It's amazing how many Sunday starts he has in his career, and what his record is on Sunday and what run support he gets. It's not many.
That was just his first decision of the year. He gets a ton of no decisions every year, it seems like. Seth Smith coming up. Excuse me, it'll be Ryan Spilborghs for Seth Smith. It'll be a straight up switch, get a little more defense in there.
Absolutely it will. Well, hey, let me bring this to the fans at home. Following the Rockies on your iPhone, iPod Touch, the BlackBerry, or your Android phone with MLB.com at BatTooth 2010, featuring video highlights and more. Visit ColoradoRockies.com on your phone to purchase.
Strike on Spilborghs. So Penny gets the win, and he got a little offense from the guy who hits 3rd in their lineup, Pujols. Albert hit his 7th of the year. And as George just told you, Arizona beat Philadelphia 8-6. Rosales over Herndon. Qualls his 4th save. Greg Dobbs hit his 1st for the Phils. Mark Reynolds his 7th. Kelly Johnson his 7th for the Snakes. Spilborghs is gone. That's the 2nd out. That'll bring up Olivo. If you have windshield issues, we know where to go. Elite Safe Light Auto Glass. Catch them online at safelight.com. Miguel's 2 for 3, single in the 4th, 2-run home run to left center in the 5th. Leads the club now with 5 home runs. How about Seth Smith? He's got 4 home runs, George, in part-time duty.
Well, that's not an amazing part for me. It's just one of those deals where he seems to come up big when you need that day to get lifted of a guy playing off of the bench.
This is where, with the injury to Brad Hopp, where that outfield depth, maybe better than any team in baseball, will pay off. 7th inning is the Burger King Whopper inning. If Colorado hits a home run during the 7th inning, Burger King will offer a free Whopper with the purchase of a large drink the following day between 4 and 6. Good day for Smith. Couple of home runs, 4 ribbies. Two-strike count on Oliva. Now leading all Major League catchers in home runs with 5. Splitting time with Chris Iannetta. At home this year, he's hitting .435 with 3 home runs. Likes his new home. Foul tip that's held by Ronnie Paulino. So the Rockies get a walk to Tulowitzki, nothing more. We'll go to the 8th inning. It's 8-3 Rockies. Time for our Cooney Lexus look back on this one. The 2nd inning, Seth Smith. 0-0 ball game, not for long. He hits it out to right field, about 15 feet inside the foul pole. 4th inning, 2 men aboard. Almost an identical spot. That was 4-0. 5th inning, Miguel Olivo. No stranger to jogging around the bases. That was a 2-run jack. Rockies leading 8-3. The look back brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Broadway in Littleton. Ryan Spilborghs pinch hit for Seth Smith, and naturally stays in the ball game in left field. So it's it's Spilborghs, Fowler, and Gonzalez. Matt Daly's still out there. Dan Ugla at the plate.
$35,000 watched this ball game today. 35,883 was in the ballpark.
Ugla 0 for 2 and a walk. Check the American League scoreboard. Baltimore wins at Boston in 10 innings, 7-6. Baltimore's just their third win of the year. Do you know, George, they have not won at Camden Yards this year? It's not good when you haven't won at home and it's late April.
Are you kidding me?
They haven't won at home.
Wow. So how does that, is he going to be the first manager to get asked to leave and not come back?
Tremblay, I don't know.
Take all your showers at home from now on?
Inside 2-2. Miguel Tejada hit his third for the Orioles. Tampa Bay, they're 14-5. They shut out Toronto 6-0. David Price is 3-1 with a 2.20 ERA. He's starting to come into his own. Ugla hits it down the line.
Stay with it. Wynn's going to hold it up.
White Sox beat Seattle 3-2. Konerko hit his 8th for the White Sox.
By the way, important right now in the outfield is it's hang with it because the wind's going to play games with it. The wind has shifted directions during this game. It was blowing to right field extremely hard, kind of across the field. Now it's starting to blow across the other way. So it's obvious that the outfielders, infielders, you need to pay attention to what the flags are doing up above you. Not necessarily down inside the stadium as you would feel the wind, but what it's doing above the stadium.
Full count on Dan Ugla hitting in front of Ronnie Paulino. Here in the 8th, ball 4. That's a rare walk from a heavy-duty strike thrower Matt Daly.
Well, don't forget tomorrow, everybody's got to get excited. A former hero here in Lodo's coming back to town. Dante Bichette is coming back to town April the 26th on Monday to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Bichette's historic walk-off home run in the first game at Coors Field in 1995. The pregame ceremony will feature appearances by the hero himself, Dante Bichette. The first 10,000 through the gates will receive a special gift commemorating the home run. So buy your tickets for tomorrow's ball game, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, at any one of the ticket outlets, or just go online at ColoradoRockies.com.
That'll be fun tomorrow.
It will be. Good to see Dante, his son, a very, very good player. Dante quoted in the paper today, and I thought it was interesting because he's going to go to...
That is a fair ball into the right field corner. It'll be second and third, nobody out.
Shocked this is the second one down the right field line that has resulted in a double. Cantu had one, now Paulino has one. I say Dante's going to call out for Bill Schmidt during the draft. The picks of the Rockies. It's going to be interesting because he has a lot of kids he's been coaching that have an opportunity to be drafted this year.
Yeah, his son is like Dad. His son has huge power. Imagine that.
Rockies bullpen appears to be Beimel and Betancourt.
Cody Ross at the plate. Brett Carroll's up next, and then you'll get a pinch hitter. On the right side, you have Helms, Maben, and Barden. It's Randy Flores.
Yep, Flores warming up.
Left side, the only player left is Baker, your backup catcher. strike. 1-2. Rockies looking for outs. A 5-run lead. Infield's back. Can see to run. They get an out. Ross a single and a double and a line out. It's been the toughest out in the Marlins lineup today. There's Knuckles.
Take the grip. This is a pitch that Matt Daly has worked an awful lot on, and that's on the changeup. You can see that he has the 2 fingers up on top, grip deep back into the hand. A semi-circle change, but see how he rolls this thing over. Look at that arm, really pronate and get out over the top and just flip the baseball. And call for a strike.
And this is shallow center field. This could be a problem. What a catch by Barnes, and not tagging up.
Everybody's looking like
third.
wow.
Dan Uggla. What a catch by Clint Barnes. Who almost ran out of the stadium.
Look at Fowler. Toodle whiskey. Clint's going ho-hum. Told you guys I had it all the way. Why don't you just get out of the way? Man, what a play by Clint Barnes. Takes off on the fly. Dead sprint out. Folks, just second basemen don't make plays like this. Clint got such a great jump on the ball right on the end of the glove, and then watch this, just turns around and fires because he knows he has second and third. Momentum's taking him into the outfield. Concentration on the Hyundai cam, and he's going to grab immediately and just fire it back in, and that's where Todd Helton was able to get a hold of the baseball.
Jim Tracy's going to piecemeal this. He'll go get his 8th inning man, Rafael Betancourt. So Daly is out of there with 1 out in the 8th inning. 8-3 Rockies. Did one very smart thing several years back to that end. For our 3 boys, we started a College Invest $529 savings plan, and each month I don't even think about it. It automatically is withdrawn from our checking account. You can get started with a College Invest savings plan as well, and you don't have to be a #1 draft pick to do it. It only takes $25 to get started, and you can set up automatic deposits just like we did. So check them out at collegeinvest.org and get started saving for your kids' futures. Absolutely one of the best things we've done. 8-3 Rockies. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. So with 1 out, 2 in scoring position, the Rockies will turn to Rafael Betancourt, former Cleveland Indian. Greg Carroll out of the 8-hole will step up. John Baker's come out in the on-deck circle. He's got Wes Helms. That's Wes Helms. Not bad.
First time Betancourt has entered a game with men on base this year. That's pretty typical. He normally pitches when the Rockies are in this situation, but he will start the 8th inning and create a mess of his own if he does ever create one. It's rare times he's coming in the 8th with men on base.
That ball at 92 kind of cut away from Brett Carroll, 0-1.
Yeah, he will attack you with the fastball. He's not going to fool around.
He is not afraid.
Well, that's what makes him such a good eighth inning guy. He's going to pound strikes. Typically, he's not going to get beat by walking a bunch of people.
Still marveling at that catch that Clint Barmas made. 40-yard sprint. It's a little unnerving for an outfielder, or excuse me, for an infielder running in a dead sprint toward an outfielder who you know's flying toward you, and your eyes on the baseball.
Well, hopefully you can hear him.
Yeah, some ugly collisions through the years.
Well, hopefully you can hear him, because he's the guy that's going to call you off once he's going. You go as hard as you can until you hear him say, "I got it." Now, looking at that same play made earlier, you can see everybody converging shortstop. Here comes Dexter Fowler. Dexter just kind of sidesteps. Clint made the catch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Back live on Brett Carroll. Uggla at third, Paulino at second. Walking a double. Finished that American League scoreboard, George. White Sox over Seattle, I mentioned that, 3-2. Kansas City beat Minnesota 4-3. Jose Guillen has 7 home runs for the Royals. Justin Morneau hit one in the loss, his 4th. Texas over Detroit 8-4. Porcello got the loss, George. His ERA, he's 1-2. Porcello, who you saw as a high school kid, ERA close to 8.
Yeah, that's tough luck coming back, too, because this is second year out at the big league level. There's a little bit of sophomore jinx, maybe thinking things were a little bit too easy, not making pitches when he needs to make pitches.
See if Betancourt can make a pitch here. 1-2. That's fouled off.
Second and third, the Rockies are up by 5. On the Hyundai cam coming right out of the hand of Betancourt, you're going to see that gives you the action of a slider, but unfortunately it kind of came out late out of the hand. You saw how much it popped out of the hand, worked around it, stayed up into the strike zone. Hitters get excited on those kind of hangers every now and then at 85 miles an hour, and they overswing on it.
Blocked by Oliva, 2-2. Angels in Anaheim beat the Yankees 8-4 to even their record at 10-10. The Yankees are 12-6. Kazmir over Javier Vasquez. Vasquez now 1-3 with an ERA at 9.
Nice struggle. Won his last start, did okay.
Kendrick Morales is 6th. Bobby Abreu, the former Yankee, is 3rd. Cano and Posada home runs for New York. 2-2. On Brett Carroll. 8-3 here. The Rockies ahead in the 8th. 1 out, 2 in scoring position. Ground ball to third. Runner score. 2 outs.
Well, outs are the most important part right now that you're trying to accomplish instead of a spectacular play or a collision at the plate. Give up the run for the out, clean up the bases a little bit, leave a runner at second with 2 outs, and still a 4-run lead.
5th RBI on the season for Brett Carroll. 8-4, and that'll bring up Wes Helms. Wes had a good day in the nightcap yesterday. He had 3 of the 5 hits against Aaron Cook. He was the entire offense for Florida as the Rockies won 8-1. One other American League score. Oakland continues to surprise. They're 12-8. They shut out Cleveland 11-0 today. Betancourt, one of the more deliberate workers in baseball. I mean, he thinks it through and takes his time every pitch.
Controls the inning with his tempo, not the hitter's tempo or the game's tempo.
In the air to left field. Spilborghs is out there. Ryan's got it. Nice job by Betancourt. A run for the Marlins in the inning. 8-4 Colorado. The game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Fourth inning, Seth Smith, already one home run. There's his second. It's an Earl Weaver special, 3-run bomb. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Seth Smith today went 2 for 3, a couple of home runs, 4 RBIs before he gave way to Ryan Spilborghs in the 7th inning. Ian Stewart will lead it off, and the Rockies will take a look at Chris LaRue.
Signed as a 7th-round pick in 05, 6'6", 226-pounder out of Montreal, Canada. Came before to last year, pitched in 5 games, all out of the bullpen, didn't fare very well, 1080 earned run average.
Ian Stewart, ground ball to second. Smashed to first, and he was caught looking. Take strike one. Matt Daly gave up an earned run in 2/3 of an inning. Franklin Morales tossing baseball down in the Rockies bullpen. 0-2.
Talking about LaRue, he's a guy that can bring it. 94 to 96, touch 97 occasionally, slider up to 88 miles an hour. Just a matter of controlling it within the strike zone. Taking that skill set out to the mound with you and utilizing it.
And a little comebacker. One out. I'll bring up Clint Barmas, who's 0 for 1. A line out the center and a couple of walks. Today's game summary is brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Rockies got after Chris Volstad in the middle innings. They ran him in the 5th. 7 runs for Volstad, who had been pitching well. De La Rosa was solid for 5 innings. He would have pitched longer, but we believe he had to go after 5 with a blister on his middle finger. That hasn't been confirmed, but that's what they were looking at in the dugout. And this is a flare that's going to drop for Clint Barmas.
Nice play in the previous inning. Come up with a base hit in the next.
And Eric Young Jr. is going to be the pinch hitter here in the 8th inning in the pitcher spot. Look again.
Off the end of the bat, but that's all right. Pitch was meant to be hit off the end of the bat. Down and low on the outside corner. Knee high. Flare it out into the outfield. Come up with a base hit.
Well, the name Eric Young will always be well received in Denver. And a nice round of applause for EY in his return to the big leagues. Last year, EY hit 246, 57 at bats. Got his first big league home run out of the way last year. Got one at bat in the divisional series against Philadelphia.
Really struggled at the start of the year in AAA, but has got hot of late. 10 for 21, 3 stolen bases, hit a home run.
And that's going to be a base hit. And Barnes is going to go first to third. The ball was not held on to by Cantu. Well, EY had 3 hits last night, George, to support your point for Colorado Springs, and it gets his first big league hit in 2010.
Well, very quiet lower half, a little bit more upright, just out of the reach of Dan Ugla. But I'll tell you what, Carroll threw out a pretty good arm right here. He threw a laser into third base. It wasn't held on to by Cantu, and that allowed Mr. Barmas to be safe.
So the Rockies with runners on the corners. 1 out. Carlos Gonzalez up for the 5th time. Ground ball to short, deep drive to left, single. And another ground ball to short, 1 for 4. He likes that pitch. You know, a lot of guys work him away, George, and he has no problem wearing out left field.
No, he doesn't. And the good part about it is he can get quick enough to get it into left center field, and so then it changes into not only a single but into the double, and even advance even farther, depending on what park you're in. That's why more and more teams have tried to crowd him now on the plate, try to get inside with the a little bit longer swing, thinking they can jam him. That's when he pulls it to right.
He got very good speed aboard and a 1st and 3rd situation, and this ball is fouled straight back, 0-2. Betancourt, 2/3 of an inning. Got both hitters he faced. See if Jim Tracy puts EY in motion here. He may try to keep that hole open on the right side. Breaking ball count.
A couple of lefties too. Gonzalez, you're right, breaking ball count. And he also got Fowler right behind him. But the other side of that, he had one to gap. He got 2 more on the board.
There you go.
There's always that other side of the coin when you're trying to manage a baseball game, and it's all going pretty quick.
Well, no movement. Swinging strikeout for Gonzalez. I'll bring up Dexter Fowler. He's got a couple of hits today in 4 visits to the plate. St. Clair going out.
It should be. I mean, this is a 4-run ball game, and anything can happen. Their lineup coming up is at the start of the top of the lineup with Coughlin, Sanchez, and Ramirez. They've already used Helms and they've used Lamb, so they got Maben, Barton, and not sure Maben's ready to go, and then Baker the backup. And they're going to be going against the left-hander Morales, so they're looking at controlling the issue here, trying to keep it right where it is, give your chance 4 runs. Big to overcome against a guy like Franklin Morales, but that's something that they feel like they're trying to accomplish.
Let's see if the Rockies put something on here. There goes EY. Huge jump, line drive left field. It's got tail on it though. One and two. Well, George, a lot of managers in this situation behind the count with good speed both ways. See if the trail runner gets himself in a rundown, try to steal a run.
They tried it last night with Florida. They was tagged out at home plate.
2 and 2.
You don't see it as much as you used to. Just because of the level of play and the ability of guys to make plays and make throws.
There's better arms at second base than there used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times you want to get it to the better arm anyway.
Runner going, and EY will take the bag standing up. First stolen base, obviously, for Eric Young Jr. You got Helton on deck. This is where analysts always talk about who do you have hitting behind you when you get a fastball. He's going to get a fastball. You got to figure.
Well, the only thing is he has that difficulty.
And he didn't. He got to change it.
Well, the reason behind that is simply because he's had so much difficulty trying to hit the off-speed pitch. You'd rather go off-speed and try to punch out or work into a punch-out situation by walking. Okay, but I'd rather try to strike out him than I would absolutely face Todd Helton.
Todd's up with the bases juiced here at the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-4 Colorado. And Helton takes a strike. A lot of guys put on a dramatic shift in the outfield toward the off gap. Florida not doing it with Helton. Outside 1-1. They're playing him straight up. Of course, the guy who will shift the outfield, Davey Collins, knows Todd Helton exceptionally well. Helton drives one to right, and Carroll's going to get there. That's a second ball. Todd squared up today, and he's got nothing to show for it. We'll go to the 9th inning, looking for 3 more outs. 8-4 Rockies. Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Burger King, home of the Whopper. And by Colorado Hyundai. Colorado Hyundai was just named the most efficient car maker in America. Visit your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. Rockies up 8-4. Franklin Morales will be asked to get the final 3 outs in the post-game show. is still to come today, and here's Tom Helm.
And as always, Drew, it'll be top-notch. We have Seth Seth Smith, a big offensive day. Spring Fowler, Dexter Fowler having a nice spring here as he's found the bat. And Olivo is his name-o. Miguel Olivo, another big bomb today. Great offensive performance from him as well. We'll break it all down right after the ballgame. Back to Drew O is your name-o. I have nothing there. I have to work on that.
That needs a little work. All right, Tom, we'll check back with you in 3 more outs. Miguel Olivo has caught the 8th and final warm-up pitch from Franklin Morales. He's ready to go. Top of the order, Chris Coghlan, Gabby Sanchez, and Hanley Ramirez to face Morales on for the 8th time. He's 3 for 5 in save opportunities, though one of the blown saves not his fault. There was an error behind him, otherwise he'd be 4 for 5. Fastball inside, ball 1 on Coghlan.
Total key to his success, strike 1. If he can work ahead in counts and retire the first man, it seems like when he gets traffic, sometimes he gets overamped, tries to do too much with the baseball. Even it up at 1-1.
Here's the thing that's been pretty good, George. You know, it seems sometimes like more because he does have some deep counts, but he's only walked 2 this year.
Well, that is obviously coming out of the bullpen, some kind of a huge plus that you're looking for.
2-2.
Coming out of the bullpen, you'd like to see about 70% first batter retired or higher in order to be able to carry yourself out where it needs to go.
That's strike 3 at 95 on the black. Coghlan not pleased with it. Well, that looked like a pretty good pitch.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good pitch, too. I mean, let's take a look at it one more time on the forward strike zone. Too good to take. Caught right on the corner, right on the black of the plate. Morales will take it, so will the Rockies and their fans.
Gabby Sanchez is 2 for 4. Marlins done a good job in their own backyard, George. That's a strike 1-1. We talked about Atlanta doing a good job with Richmond, Jeff Francoeur, Brian McCann, Jason Hayward, all Atlanta area kids. Well, Gabby Sanchez went to the University of Miami. The kid who started today, Chris Volstad, is a South Florida kid. It's one of the hotbeds. Scouts flock to the state of Florida. Here's the 2-1. And that's in the air down the right field line. And you know what? It's going to stay in play for Carlos Gonzalez. 2 outs. The player of the game is brought to you by Grainger, for the ones who get it done. And boy, did Seth Smith get it done today. Volstad served up that home run ball, the second. And then a couple innings later, here's Smith with 2 aboard, and he launches his second of the ball game, his 4th of the year. 4 RBI ball game for Seth Smith. Pride of Ole Miss, our Grainger player of the game, and Hanley Ramirez takes strike 1. Ramirez 0 for 2 and a pair of walks. Rockies in July will play a 4-game set against the Marlins down in South Florida.
Yeah, right after the All-Star break. It'll be nice and cool that time of the year in Florida for the games.
Should I bring my overcoat?
Absolutely, with a sweater.
0-2 on Hanley Ramirez. Rockies have kept him pretty quiet, fortunately, in this series. Here's the 1-2. And it's fouled back, hanging curveball. The Rockies tomorrow welcome in the Arizona Diamondbacks. They get back to division play. The only team they've played in the division so far, the Padres. They took 2 or 3 from San Diego. As you look at Smith, Giambi in the foreground, Keith Duggar, the Rockies trainer, next to Smith. Here's the 1-2. You see that once in a while with Morales. He's a competitive guy, George. He's an emotional young man. And you said it. He gets amped up. I mean, he knows he's 1 strike away.
Yep. You start to hear the crowd. You hear the music. You hear the chants. You know, and then like a lot of ballparks across America, you get 2 strikes on a guy. They get on their feet, particularly on that winning side of things, and start to chant, cheer.
Here's the 2-2. Cut inside, 3-2. Crowd groaning. They've been standing now for a minute or 2. Cantu, we hope doesn't come to bat. Here's the 3-2.
95-mile-an-hour fastball away, and in this situation, think about it. I mean, what is the one pitch you feel you can throw for a strike, or should be able to at any time, and not at any time, 95% of the time is your fastball. You got a 4-run lead. Don't just start adding the pitch counts and things, pitching as if it's a 1-run ball game. Attack the hitters. I know it's something Jim Tracy preaches as a manager.
3-2, bouncer up the middle. Tulowitzki scoops, fires. That is the ball game. A fitting conclusion on a most emotional day at Coors Field.